Ikijo is the son of a Yakuza clan head who wishes to live an ordinary life working for the government. On his way to school, a girl runs into him and injures him, and at school his crush Onodera helps him. A new transfer student is announced, and the girl is Chidoge, the girl who injured Ikijo, and she starts arguing with Ikijo. Ikijo finds out that he has lost his locket that contains a memory of his first love when he was a child. And he lost the locket when Chidoge ran into him. He asks her to help look for it. They argue and fight for several days, and Ikijo tells Chidoge to give up. However, Chidoge eventually finds the locket and returns it to Ikijo. Ikijo's father announces that to make peace with a rival gang, Ikijo must fake date a girl from their clan, and the girl is revealed to be Chidoge. For the clans to make peace, they have to date each other for 3 years. Although they do not want to, they reluctantly agree. They go on a date to trick the Yakuza and the Beehive gang into thinking they are in love, but they have a difficult time because they always argue. During the date, some gangsters bother Chidoge, and Ikijo takes her hand and they run away. Chidoge scolds him and heads to the bathroom, where she overhears the Yakuza saying they don't believe that Ikijo and Chidoge are really dating. Chidoge resolves to do better, but when she returns to Ikijo, they meet Onodera, and he has a difficult time revealing that he is dating Chidoge. Chidoge gets mad and leaves. Ikijo asks Onodera if his locket looks familiar, and she says it does not, but when she gets home she has the key for the locket. Meanwhile, Ikijo apologizes to Chidoge. Uri Miyamoto, Onodera's best friend, invites them all to a study group and to help Onodera with her feelings for Ikijo. The Yakuzas watch them, and they think that his relationship with Chidoge is fake, so to help their relationship they trick and trap Ikijo and Chidoge inside a warehouse. Trapped inside the warehouse, Chidoge reveals that she is afraid of the dark, and Ikijo comforts her. They try to escape the warehouse, but she falls on him. They start to kiss but are interrupted by Claude, and both Onodera and Ruri see them as well. At home, Chidoge writes in her notebook that Ikijo might have some redeeming qualities. Ikijo tries to clear up the confusion with Onodera due to his almost kiss with Chidoge. Ruri continues to support her friend and plans for Ikijo to teach Onodera how to swim to prepare her for a swim meet and so they can be closer together. Onodera is terrible at swimming, but they enjoy each other's company. At the swim meet, Chidoge cramps while swimming and almost drowns, but Ikijo saves her. Shu, Ikijo's best friend, tells him to give her mouth to mouth, but before he can, she wakes up and punches him. This makes Ruri suspicious about Ikijo dating Chidoge. Chidoge finds out that Ikijo was trying to save her, so she tries to apologize and thank Ikijo for saving her from drowning, but ends up beating him up. Onodera later attempts to confess to Ikijo, but is foiled when a baseball hits her head. It is revealed that when Chidoge returned the locket to Ikijo, she also remembered a promise with a boy with a locket 10 years ago. A transfer student named Tsugumi joins the school. Tsugumi sits with Ikijo and smiles at him, but Chidoge recognizes Tsugumi and is embarrassed at his appearance. Chidoge and Tsugumi speak with each over his uniform, and Tsugumi explains that it is his disguise. He asks to be introduced to Chidoge's boyfriend, and they meet Ikijo. At lunch, Tsugumi teases Chidoge, and when Chidoge leaves to go to the bathroom, Tsugumi asks to speak to Ikijo in private. On the rooftop, Tsugumi questions Ikijo's love for Chidoge. After Ikijo says he loves her, Tsugumi takes out a gun and threatens Ikijo, saying that he will take Chidoge away from him. Ikijo defends Chidoge and she overhears them. Chidoge stops them when they fight, and Tsugumi challenges Ikijo to a duel which he must win or Tsugumi will kill him. After school, the two duel and Tsugumi pulls out multiple guns. Ikijo is scared and flees because he thought that they would duel with fists. Tsugumi chases him and they both fall into the pool where Tsugumi is knocked out. Ikijo helps him and takes him to the boys' locker room where he discovers Tsugumi is actually a girl. Chidoge arrives and Ikijo hides Tsugumi in a locker, and Chidoge tells the class Tsugumi is actually a girl. Ikijo calls Tsugumi cute, and Chidoge discovers them and punches him. Tsugumi arrives later with a girl's uniform and promises to protect Chidoge. Chidoge gives her a blue ribbon to wear on her hair, and she wonders if Chidoge has forgotten her love 10 years ago. Later, when Ikijo must do chores, Tsugumi comes along to see if he is a good match for Chidoge, but she finds herself developing weird feelings for Ikijo. She asks others for advice, such as Claude and her classmates. When she asks Onodera for advice, Onodera reveals that she must be in love, and Tsugumi denies her feelings. Chidoge is reminded by Tsugumi that she also had a first love, and she goes to her closet to find her old diary from 10 years ago. In the pages of the diary, she sees details about days spent with a boy 10 years ago, and then finds a key that resembles Ikijo's locket. The class has a trip to go to the hot springs. Ikijo, Ruri, Chidoge, Onodera, and Tsugumi ride together to go to the hot springs, and they are all stuck with each other. All the other boys are jealous. Later, Chidoge remembers that the boy from her diary had a scar on his forehead, and she sees that Ikijo also has a scar on his forehead. At the hot springs, the group decide to play a card game where the losers would have to talk about their first love. They must avoid the Joker card, but both Onodera as well as Chidoj have a terrible poker face. However, before the game can finish, a teacher ends their game and there is no loser. The group go into the hot springs, but Claude traps Akijo by switching the signs for the men and women hot springs. Akijo and Chidoj accidentally meet at the hot springs and see each other, and Chidoj is angry to find Akijo there but is more understanding when the trick is revealed. She agrees to help Akijo escape, but before he can run, the other girls arrive at the pool. Chidoj covers for him and he almost escapes before others arrive into the hot springs. He is almost caught by Tsugumi, but Chidoj manages to hide him. He finds an escape route, but while attempting to escape, Chidoj accidentally falls on him and experiences something unpleasant. He manages to escape to the boys' side. Akijo and Chidoj are embarrassed over the incident at the hot springs and they try to avoid each other. Shu tells Akijo about a lottery where the class will pair boys and girls for a test of courage. Onodera hopes to be paired with Akijo, and Ruri tells her she needs to make a move on him. At the lottery, Akijo and Onodera are paired up and they consider themselves lucky. Meanwhile, a group of students running the test of courage ask Chidoj to fill for a girl that was sick, and she reluctantly agrees. However, she is left alone in the dark when her flashlight runs out of battery. When Akijo realizes what has happened, he leaves Onodera to rescue Chidoj because of her fear of the dark. Akijo finds her and leads her back to the resort. Tsugumi is planning a surprise birthday party for Chidoj, and she invites Akijo and the rest of the group. Ruri makes a plan for Onodera and Akijo to go shopping for a gift for Chidoj together. They are nervous because they are on a kind of date together. Onodera takes Akijo to a scenic overlook in her secret place, asking him to keep it a secret. Akijo asks Onodera if she was the promised girl from 10 years ago, and she reveals that she has a childhood memory of promising to a boy and receiving a key from him. They almost confess to each other but are interrupted by a phone call since they are late to the party. They go to Chidoj's house and the group is surprised that she is rich. She is also embarrassed that the party is full of gangsters. She gets gifts from gang. Later, Akijo and Chidoj are alone together on the balcony, and Chidoj asks him about the promised girl from 10 years ago, and whether he heard the phrase "thoughts in love," which was what the promised girl said to him 10 years ago. She reveals to him that she also has a childhood memory from 10 years ago of meeting a boy and receiving a key from him that resembles his locket. Akijo is shocked to see Onodera and Chidoj both have keys. They are embarrassed, but they try the key in the locket, but are shocked when the key breaks inside the locket. While leaving, Akijo runs into Chidoj's father and he reveals she didn't have many friends growing up and they have good chemistry. He also reveals that his family visited Akijo's family 10 years ago, and that Chidoj and Akijo had met each other as kids. Onodera later meets Akijo as she wants to try the key, but since his locket is broken, he had to take it for repairs. They get pictures from the trip, but an embarrassed Akijo trying to get a picture of Onodera accidentally gives her a picture of Chidoj, and she wonders if he has a crush on Chidoj. At home, Akijo's father reveals that he has a picture of the girl he promised to 10 years ago, but that Akijo would have to find it. He struggles to find the photo and also struggles to remember details of the girl from 10 years ago. The group study together and Tsumugi helps Akijo with a problem, and she becomes embarrassed when she gets close to him. Later, Akijo finally finds the photo of the promised girl, but he finds the photo useless at identifying the girl as she doesn't remember anything about the girl at all. After school, it rains and he walks Chidoj home as they share an umbrella. She gets annoyed when she gets in the rain and they stand close to not get wet. They take cover, but Chidoj accidentally finds photos of herself on him, but she knows that they were probably planted by Shu. They share a moment but are interrupted by Akijo's dad, who calls him in for an emergency. Chidoj and Akijo find out that he actually has a fiancée and she is arriving the next day. His dad forgot about his engagement, but reveals that the girl in the photo is his fiancée. She transfers into their class the next day and is introduced as Marika Takabana. She hugs Akijo and Chidoj states that he is her boyfriend. Marika calls her a gorilla and Tsumugi defends Chidoj with a gun, but a group of police arrive to defend Marika since her father is the police commissioner. Marika takes Akijo away by pretending to be hurt. At the nurse's office, even though he doesn't remember her, she confesses to him. His friends accidentally run into him in a compromising position with her and Chidoj destroys him. It is revealed that Marika also has a key to the locket. Marika forces Akijo on a date and the rest of the girls disguise themselves to spy on them. Tsumugi dresses up as a disguise and it is successful, but she is upset that Akijo did not recognize her at all. Chidoj hides as a suspicious person but is chased off by the police. Ruri and Onodera accidentally lose them at a tea house. At a park, Chidoj successfully spies on them, and Marika reveals her key to Akijo and asks him to break his relationship with Chidoj. However, Akijo refuses as it would not be fair to Chidoj, and she is revealed by Marika. Chidoj is provoked by Marika and beats up Akijo. Marika and Akijo talk and he still doesn't recognize her. She grows angry and throws a tantrum, which makes him finally recognize her as Marie. When they were little, Marie used to be hospitalized, and Akijo often came to visit her, and she fell in love with him. But when he was little, he said that he likes girly girls with long hair, so since then she has worked on getting long hair and acting girly. She forgives him for forgetting and gives him a kiss on the cheek. The girls and Akijo all meet, and they are confused why there are multiple keys. They determine that 2 of the keys must be fake and that they will have to wait for the locket to be repaired to test the keys. Chidoj and Marika argue with each other over Akijo. Later, Chidoj asks him to ask Marika's father to break off their engagement. Akijo meets Marika's father and finds him incredibly intimidating. He is so scared that he cannot ask to break off the engagement. Marika leaves him alone with her father, and her father reveals that she still treasures the toys they had when they were children. Onodera asks Akijo if he could help her family at their sweet shop since they are down an employee. He takes the part-time job and meets Onodera's mother but finds her intimidating. Akijo finds himself distracted by Onodera's uniform. Her mother tests him on his cooking skills to see if he can work in the shop, and he manages to pass the test. Onodera and Akijo cook sweets together and they grow closer. However, a typhoon appears and Akijo is forced to stay at Onodera's house until the weather clears. They are nervous to be alone together, but they manage to talk about their school days together. The typhoon eventually changes course and Akijo heads home. Later, at a template festival, Akijo is working at a food stall run by the clan. He runs into Chidoj while on break and they explore the festival together. Marika and Onodera see them together, and Marika asks if Onodera has come for a festival relationship charm. After catching some fish for Chidoj, they fight the crowd for a festival charm but get separated. Onodera accidentally appears in front of Akijo. They spend some time with each other, but a cat steals his charm. He chases the cat and embarrasses Marika when she thinks he is trying to kiss her. He meets Tsumugi, who is failing at the festival's gun game but keeps losing the charm. Chidoj ends up finding the charm and Akijo offers it to her. She thinks he is proposing and is embarrassed until he clears up the situation. The group go to the beach for their summer vacation. Thinking about their time at the festival, Chidoj realizes that she has been developing feelings for Akijo. This makes the rest of the trip embarrassing for her as they are close throughout the trip. At night, Onodera and Akijo sit at the pier and talk about making sweets together. Onodera secretly wishes that the movement would last forever. She finds the courage to ask if they could kiss, but she finds out that he was asleep the entire time and she flees. The next day, Chidoj talks to Onodera while they make sand castles, and Onodera helps her realize that she really is in love with Akijo. Later, when she and Akijo are alone, she asks what if they became a real couple instead of a fake couple, and since he is embarrassed, he starts to insult her and she runs away. The school has a play on Romeo and Juliet, and originally Akijo would play Romeo and Chidoj would play Juliet. But since her feelings were hurt at the beach, Chidoj has turned down the role. Although at first happy that Onodera will play the role instead. He confronts Chidoj and the two fight. Onodera and Akijo prepare for the play, but the lines make them too embarrassed. Akijo and Chidoj have a fight over their fake relationship, and she slaps him in front of the class. On the day of the play, Onodera falls and is unable to play Juliet. Marika is her understudy, but she is also sick. Chidoj is feeling regretful when Akijo appears to ask her to play Juliet to save the play. He realizes that he has been acting hurtful to her and not thinking of her feelings. So he apologizes to her and she agrees to play Juliet. In the play, Chidoj plays the role of Juliet, but she also has forgotten the lines. The audience start to mistake the play as a comedy. They also realize that Shu has been making changes to the script and embarrasses Tsumugi when the script says she has to confess to Akijo. Marika also appears, and Akijo's Romeo is written to be a horrible person for dating multiple people. Claude appears as an obstacle and starts to seriously fight Akijo until Akijo accidentally collapses the castle wall prop on top of him. Finally, Akijo reaches Chidoj and they complete the play to great applause. After the play, they talk about their fake relationship and apologize for the way they have been treating each other and reconcile with each other. At the party to celebrate the play, Onodera reveals to Akijo that she is glad that they were able to complete the play, but she really was looking forward to playing Juliet. At sunset, they decide to have a play just for themselves and act out Romeo and Juliet with each other. And this is all for this video. Remember to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.